Hey guys, Mono here. So I got into the closed beta for the finals and I managed to play a few hours yesterday with TactiGamer and Pterodactyl. So I thought I'd give you guys my first impressions on what this game is and whether or not it's fun. And yes, it's a whole lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, there's two teams.
Oh, behind you, man.
But first off, let's talk about what this actually is. This is a new arena style shooter from Emark, which is a new game company full of ex-DICE developers. So a lot of Battlefield talent in this studio, and it really shows. It's a free-to-play game, and the game mode is perhaps the most interesting aspect of this game. There are 4 teams of 3 players fighting for control of these golden boxes that have money in them, and you have to secure them in these totem-like stations, which, you know, take a while to extract the money, so you need to guard those once you actually get the box there. There's always 2 boxes and 2 extraction points at the start of the game, so given there's 4 teams, you're always fighting for this limited resource, and maybe there's 3 teams going for 1 box, maybe there's 1 going for another. It's really different each time you play it, like what's the situation gonna be like. And there's also modifiers like low gravity meteor showers where actual meteors drop from the sky and start destroying everything, or mega damage where your weapons deal more damage. Those are randomized, so you don't know what you're gonna get or if you're gonna get something. I think there is a chance that you don't get any modifiers in a round, but I'm not sure on that. So yeah, first thing is, I'm gonna say this feels like it's a new subgenre almost. We've had Battle Royale fever with games like Fortnite and PUBG and the failed extraction Battlefield shooters and Warzone and all of that. We've had hero shooters and extraction shooters. This actually feels like a fresh new thing. The time I spent playing it, it really felt like a completely different experience from what you're used to in a shooter. Yes, it's like an arena style shooter in terms of the combat, the gameplay and so on, and especially the time to kill, which I will get to in a bit. But maybe the best way to explain this is that you always have clear objectives, but you also have a ton of different options. You have a ton of choice. So for example, at the start of the game, are you gonna go for the boxes of gold to take them to the cash out, or are you gonna go camp in a cash out, wait for one of the teams to come in and then just ambush them when they're trying to deposit that and guard it? Or are you gonna rush for position on the map on a certain area where you think you can ambush the teams as they're moving across the map? Or maybe you're just gonna hang around until 2 teams kill each other and then you're gonna go in as the third party to hit the last team remaining when they are at their weakest? Are you gonna guard the cash out until the last second, or are you gonna leave and go attack the other team's cash out, which is actually something we did in one round and got a whole ton of money that way because we did 2 cash outs at the same time. And this idea of choice also extends to your loadout and to the traversal options. There's this insane amount of destructibility. I'm sure you've heard about this and you can see it on the screen. You can destroy pretty much everything in the maps. So all the walls, all the objects, all the floors, the ceilings, everything is destructible. And it honestly puts the latest Battlefields to shame with how much is destructible here. So you can tackle areas in different ways. For example, you could go up a staircase, or there's these zip lines that you can use to jump onto the rooftops, or, you know, get into a building that's next to the one you want and then just blow up the wall. And there's also stuff like deployable jump pads, deployable zip lines as well. So there's a whole lot of things that you can use to mix things up in terms of traversal. And in terms of the loadout, it means using different gadgets and weapons to fit your playstyle. There are 3 different classes, so light, medium, heavy, and it is genius that they didn't go down the very familiar hero or specialist route and, you know, made it so there's a bunch of different classes with very limited access to the gadgets or the weapons. This 3-class system simplifies the whole thing while also giving you a wide variety of different gadgets for each of them. So there's much more flexibility in terms of how you're going to tailor your class. Now, each of those classes move at a different speed and they have different health. So for example, the heavy has 350 health, the light has 150, the medium obviously has like 250. They all move at different speeds and they also have different sized hitboxes. So in terms of gadgets, for example, the medium has a health gun, kind of similar to Mercy's abilities from Overwatch, where you can heal someone with a gun, or actually TF2, or you get a turret that you can place somewhere and it's gonna auto-target enemies. The light class has invisibility or a grappling hook that you can use to basically traverse around the map way more freely. The heavy gets access to C4 and the RPGs, and gets the ability to just knock down walls by running. That also damages enemies. So there's different archetypes that you can construct with each of these three classes. You can go for a light sniper that's going to be using the grappling hook to get around and get into positions where you can snipe the enemy from, or you can use a light ambusher that's going to go invisible with a very powerful short-range weapon and just going to dump on an enemy and then run away. And simply put, this mix of classes and the environments and the freedom that you have combined with the specific rules of the game mode itself, I think is absolutely brilliant. They've created this fantastic crucible which very easily generates very unique and remarkable moments. Like in this match, we were fighting from one building to the other. We were all trying to get to this box that was in a floor between us, or when we were riding these platforms around the map, and two teams were trying to constantly ambush as we got close to the building. So we were trying to defend and not, fall from these platforms as we are securing the cash out. It feels very fresh, as I've said. It feels unique. It feels new. That's my overall impression of the game. It's very, very positive. I can't wait to play this again, actually. Now, I do recommend you play this with a crew. You don't want to go with randoms because the level of team play that you need to actually be effective in the game is quite high. And if you think about a game like Overwatch, there's 5, I think, in Overwatch 2 now, 5 players. If one of them is bad, then, it's not such a huge deal. While in this, if one of your teammates just goes away and does his own thing and doesn't play as a team, it's going to be basically impossible to get anything done. So now I'm going to talk about some specific aspects like gunplay, performance, and style, and touch on a few of the negative aspects of the game. So first of all, the time to kill, as I said, is very high, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does sometimes feel too high. Like sometimes you're chasing someone and just dumping a mag of ammo on their back and head, and you don't get them and they manage to run away, and it doesn't feel very satisfying. But I think a lot of that has to do with weapon balance. There's tons of recoil, particularly horizontal recoil, so the guns are not very effective at range unless you have one of the semi-auto rifles or the sniper rifle, but I don't think they have the sweet spot dialed down for each of the weapons. For example, the flamethrower is extremely underwhelming. Like, I can't think of a single situation where I would take the flamethrower over the LMG as the heavy, and the SMG that you get for the light class is also pretty underwhelming. You need to dump like 3 full mags onto a heavy to be able to heal them, and some of the gadgets are a bit unbalanced too, I think. For example, the heal gun is extremely OP. You can heal someone and pretty much outpace any damage source from any one specific damage source. So if there's somebody with an AK-47 just firing at the guy's head, you can out-heal the damage done by the AK. So you really have to go for the guy with the heal gun, but I don't know. I think it's a bit too overpowered right now. I hope they tune those things up. Also, explosive mines just don't seem to go off unless the enemy actually steps on them or touches them. So there's definitely some tweaking that needs to happen here to better balance the gadgets and weapons. Apart from that, the gunplay actually feels very nice, and I think there's clearly a very high skill ceiling towards managing the recoil and learning to be effective at different distances. One of the worst things about the game, I think, is the server-induced lag. So the server is handling all the destruction here, so everyone's seeing the same things happen at the same time to the level, which is basically something no game has ever done before. But it seems like that can make the movement feel a bit floaty, like there's some inertia to your movement, maybe because the server has to allow you to slow down when you stop hitting a key. So there's like a little lag issue in terms of movement, which doesn't feel great. Some matches felt worse than others, so it does again seem like a server issue. And there are no Latin American servers, so I was playing in an NA server. I was experiencing this issue, but it wasn't like game breaking or anything. Terry was playing from Europe, but he was having a worse time with the game and the movement. So I don't know, it might be a problem for playing with friends that are not from your region, because again, some of them might have higher ping and therefore experience this very floaty style movement. Actually, in those platforms that I was talking about earlier, the ones that go around the map like floating in midair, that felt awful to be in. Like just standing and trying to move on those platforms was absolutely awful for me. Now this is all being said like this futuristic virtual game, kind of like the Running Man or the Hunger Games. And the announcers that are narrating what's happening, like if one team gets a cash out or if there's a meteor shower coming in, are not funny or clever or memorable in basically any way.
Endings are about to get a bit more explosive, as contestants that are eliminated in the arena will go kaboom.
It's not like one of them is sarcastic and the other one's like super hyped or anything. They don't really have a personality. They're not bringing anything to the table, so it feels like a very missed opportunity. I would love to see them maybe, you know, include different announcers that you can download as DLC or unlock through a battle pass or whatever. There is obviously a battle pass here. It is a free-to-play game, so cosmetics are very much the focus. And talking about cosmetics, the default heads and body types are super bad. I would like to see this have, you know, a different style, more memorable faces at least. Like all the faces look very neutral and you can't really tell them apart, right? I would like to see, you know, give me a guy with a very square jaw, give me a fat guy with a rounded head, give me a bald guy, give me a guy with a big hairstyle. Maybe that's coming in the actual version of the finals when this game goes live and we have limited assets here for the closed beta. I don't know, but yeah, they don't feel memorable at all or distinctive at all. And also something else I'm gonna say is there's a lot of mask cosmetics, but they don't actually wear the masks. They just like put them on their forehead on the side, and it is like this very stupid looking thing. If you're gonna have a mask, then put it over your face, you know? It just feels very weird. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm really excited to play more of this. I think with a few little tweaks, it can be an absolutely incredible game. It already is a extremely fun game to play, and I'm probably gonna jump in as soon as I'm done making this video. So yeah, let's just end things here. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. I don't do that for any videos, but you know, you should do them for these, I guess. But anyway, thank you for watching as always, and I hope I will catch you in the next one.